Hello, everybody. Mike from Southern California again, and you are on the mic. So, first off, I'm going to talk about first, of course, last night on Nick's stream, he went through a portion of Ron Toye's deposition, the first couple parts. I guess he got into 3 parts. So, let's take a look at it. So, the first part of the deposition, Ty was focusing on, whether or not, basically if Ron was being called a pedophile, and whether or not did Ron believe that if a bunch of people were basically calling him a pedophile, if he should be fired from a job, or if anybody should be fired from a job. He should just be able to go out and just say, I guess, considering what we've been seeing on Twitter and stuff, his answer shouldn't be all that surprising. But it does kind of leave one to wonder where his mind is at. So apparently Ron Toye believes that just simply calling somebody something is perfect justification for being fired. No evidence needed, no proof, just all you have to do is just have a bunch of people say that you're this, that, or next thing, and then it's just perfectly justified, for you being fired. That's basically what you get out of that first part of Ty's questioning. Kind of have to wonder where his mind's at there, in that. And then as they moved on with the questioning, Ty also asked a bit about the relationships Ron has within Funimation. Now, granted, going into this, we all knew he obviously has ties to Monica. He had ties to Jamie Markey and with Chris Sabat. Apparently, though, he's also somewhat friends with Ian Sinclair, Mike McFarland, and Colleen Klinkenbeer, too. Now, the funny thing is, none of these people have said at least to my knowledge, have not said anything about this whole controversy. I don't know if they would really appreciate Ron, through his deposition, bringing them into it, I think a lot of people just try to stay out of this whole dumpster fire because they don't want to get dragged into it. We know Nick doesn't want to get dragged more into it because, he's just a journalist covering it, and yet the defense team is trying to intimidate him into it, but I don't think that's really going to happen, We also found out that Ron recently, had switched jobs. He apparently, for the last month and a half, been working with a company called Mid-America Mortgage or something like that. I guess we don't know why he was let go from or why he left his previous company, but one can speculate. Maybe all this drama, but why anybody would want to pick up the drama is beyond me. I wonder if people at Mid-America Mortgage know what's going on, know that he's actually in the midst of a defamation suit right now. So you have to kind of wonder about that. Yeah, so much of it, the first parts, of course, as I said, again, apparently he thinks that somebody calls you a pedophile, or, if somebody just simply accuses you of something heinous like pedophilia or even murder or anything, Ron just thinks, yeah, you should totally lose your job. No evidence, he apparently doesn't believe in I don't really think, based on his answers, I don't think he really believes in due process. He's another one of these SJW NPCs who just doesn't seem to believe in America. He doesn't believe in traditional American values. He doesn't believe in the American justice system. He does, what I would say is this. I mean, if these people, particularly these people in Hollywood, if they don't believe in what America stands for, why stay here? Why not go up to Canada? Like, I know a number of you said that you would move up to Canada if Donald Trump got elected, but yet you're still here. You know, move to Canada, move to Europe. If you really think that the way they do things is better than here in America, rather than trying to change America, why not just move there? You have the money to do so. So, you know, I know Madonna pretty much did that. She moved over to Britain. So, long ago, though, long before Trump even became president. So she shouldn't even really be saying anything, but she has. So, but anyways, back to Ron. So the first part was him basically saying that if you get accused of something, you should be fired. No real investigation. Just as long as a bunch of people say that you are this, that's perfectly justified in you being fired. Again, you have to wonder what's wrong with this guy. I almost get the impressions, I almost think the guy should probably be put on a 72-hour hold, quite honestly. Because something's very screwy in his head, in his reasoning. Again, we talked a little bit about his relationships within Funimation, and then towards the end there, the last part of the video just went with Ty asking about tweets that he, and this is something we heard about, what kind of was, and I kind of touched upon this or reported a little bit about this last week too, in the Ron tip. Basically, he just, he was asked about a bunch of tweets. He doesn't, it's like, even, okay, another reason why he probably needs to be put on a 72-hour hold, okay? The tweets are right in front of you. They have archived and documented the tweets that you tweeted, and you don't remember them? Seriously? Now, granted, yeah, I'm sure most of us, sure most of us, if we're asked about a particular tweet that we probably tweeted, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year ago, yeah, we may have a little trouble remembering it if somebody mentioned it to us. But if we have it right in front of us, if somebody said, okay, yes, okay, so here's the tweet. Print it out for you. It's in print for you, right in front of your face to where you can see it, and you look back on it and go, I think most of us would go, yeah, actually, I did make that tweet. I guess I do remember making that tweet now that I think about it. But Ron was even saying that he doesn't recall making the tweets, even though the fact they're right in front of him. Now, I know that one of the drive-by lawyers, Kick Vic lawyers, T. Greg do shit pointing this out, and I don't like talking about this guy too much because he's just a clown, but that's why I don't like talking about him, because he really doesn't I don't really think do shit really contributes much intelligently to the conversation, okay? But one of the points he did make is that, yes, it is a classic defense strategy to just claim you don't recall, claim you don't remember. The only problem is that this takes away an affirmative defense later on. This is what Nick was pointing out in his coverage last night, was that, okay, well, you claimed under oath that you don't remember making the tweet. So it makes it much more difficult for people to believe you if you come back later in a jury trial and say, oh yeah, I remember making that tweet. I do stand behind that. So does that mean you were lying during deposition, or are you lying now? That's what happens when you try to tell two different stories. That's what the thing is, there's an old saying. What a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. you know, are you being truthful now or will you be truthful later? It's like, or were you truthful in the past? Which is it? Which is it? They say that trust is easy to break, but hard to build. Ron, didn't do himself any favors with this deposition of his. And even with some of those tweets he said, now, as I've said before, I've met Vic and I've had a chance to observe Vic's behavior, up close, okay? I've hung out with him a little bit to where, so this is my conclusion. One of two things, based on the information we have. Either Kick Vic is lying, which, based on everything I've seen, I would be more willing to conclude that Kick Vic is nothing more than a bunch of liars. Okay? Based on what they've said and what's been brought forth. And looking at it logically, what they're saying logically. They're either a bunch of liars, or Vic is a total sociopath. I think even the Kick Vickers who I think probably the more sane ones, the more would to try to make the argument that Vic is a sociopath is just, that's basically what they're doing with a lot of these statements. Ron and Monica and Jamie and Mars Girl and Jesse Pridemore and Dominique Sky and T. Greg Duchette and Akiva Cohen and all these clowns would have you believe, or would want you to believe that Vic is a sociopath. I think many of us on the I Stand With Vic side know that's total baloney. Okay? That's total baloney. Because there's only two conclusions I think you can come from the statements Kick Vic has made, and thereby even the statements that Ron has made. Either Kick Vic is lying, or Vic is a sociopath. And based on everything I've seen, and I would think, when you look back on all the stories that we've heard and everything, and just understand the logic behind it, I would argue that Kick Vic is it's more likely that Kick Vic is a bunch of liars than Vic being a sociopath. Okay, and that, I think, is all I'm going to say on that now. So let me also touch upon one more news story. One of the things we've also found out in the last couple of days is that Facebook slashed the advertising budget for, I mean, they didn't just slash it, they practically annihilated Bubba Fest advertising budget on their platform. Again, this is a pretty obvious attempt, pretty blatant attempt at deplatforming. They're claiming that Bubba Fest, because the term Bubba is used, because it's a Southern con, therefore Bubba Fest is inherently racist, which, again, just agenda-driven. I mean, Tug covered this. I think Tug really covered this pretty well, too. That Umbrella guy covered this pretty well in terms of explaining this, is that you go to their Facebook page, and then you go to their website. All it is promoting their con. They're not trying to be political. They're not trying to, but basically Facebook is saying, well, because Bubba Fest is called Bubba Fest, they're inherently racist. If anything, I would almost argue that line of reasoning by Facebook is racist. Because basically they're just saying that all Southerners are racist. I actually know a Southerner, and I know he's not racist. Okay, I know somebody who's actually from Alabama. I know a family that's from Alabama. And I know they're not racist. But you make such a blanket statement, oh, Bubba Fest because it's called Bubba, they're racist. That's just stupid. That's just ignorant. Okay? So, you know, but I would suggest everybody go to go to BubbaFest.com, check out their con, especially those who are in Tennessee where it's happening. The Bubba Fest is going to be next month. I think it's August 22nd to the 25th. As far as I know, they have a lot of great guests planning on being there, including Chuck Norris, Don Wills of Gilligan's Island fame. I think there are a few pro wrestlers going to be there. We know Vic's going to be there, and that's, I think, one of the big things why they're trying to deplatform Bubba Fest, because Bubba Fest stood up to the Vic hate mob and said, no, you're wrong. We know you're wrong. Kick Vic. And so they're trying to deplatform this con. So, anyway, so check out the links below. If you want to contact me directly, my Twitter handle is down there. Also, check out the GoFundMe's. As always, guys, with the GoFundMe's and with anything regarding money, you're not obligated. Don't feel pressure to do so. If you can do it and it's on your heart to do it, please consider doing it. If you've already donated, please consider doing it again. If you can't donate, at least help by sharing the links. And if you like this content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Always look forward to the conversation. And until next time, guys, keep the conversation going because you're on the mic. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.